The most basic criterion that defines credible elections is that they must represent the people's free expression of choice. Elections must be transparent, inclusive, and responsible, and in order to achieve this, the candidates must be given equal opportunity to run in the elections.
However, this does not seem to be achieved soon enough in multiple countries. For example, these days, vote buying is a regular occurrence. It is generally recognized as a purely economic transaction wherein the voter sells his or her vote to the highest bidder.
In this video, we will be discussing the different ways on how electoral fraud is performed, how it happens, and what we, as citizens of the country, can stop it.
In its most literal sense, vote buying is a basic economic exchange. Candidates purchase and citizens sell their votes in the very same manner that they purchase and sell apples, shoes, or television sets. Vote buying and vote selling hinder the democratic process, although they remain widespread in many emerging countries.
In-experience ko na rin yung pagkataas bumoto, simple ka abutan, gano'n.
Sabi-sabi lang punta tayo doon, meron daw dito abutan, mga gano'n. Yung iba kasi katira na pera na yan eh. Hindi man nila alam kung sino iboto ko. Tanggap lang sila ng tanggap.
This results to international donors, governments, and non-governmental organizations throughout the world focusing on substantial attention and resources on reducing vote buying and vote selling. Vote buying is hardly ever an isolated act, and it leads to persistence of fraud and corruption throughout the political system. When a candidate chooses to pay for support rather than to fight fairly for votes, they exhibit a disrespect for democratic norms and a desire to utilize illegal tactics according to Uwamahar rule.
Intimidation is another type of election fraud. This occurs when fervent supporters of a certain candidate use the threat of violence to persuade others to vote for their preferred politician. This form of pressure may also be applied to people as a result of other negotiation tools wielded by high-ranking authorities such as dishonest legal duties.
Ballot stuffing, also referred to as ballot box stuffing, is a type of electoral fraud in which more ballots are cast than individuals who voted properly. The word typically refers to the act of casting ballots illegally or submitting more than one ballot per voter when only one ballot per voter is allowed. This may be less widespread in the last two election crimes described, but CCTV evidence of ballot stuffing at polling places around Russia has been circulating on the internet. These recordings were taken at a voting booth in Lyubrzyi and show three persons shoving what seemed to be votes into a box.
The Philippines must hold free and fair elections. A country requires the greatest possible leader to represent it. Leaders that influence people into voting for them stifle the country's progress. It harms the country's economy since chosen leaders are solely interested in themselves and their money. Furthermore, whether or not the views of the people are heard are determined by a trustworthy election.
As a result, we urge and encourage you to vote clean and wisely.
Do me and your countrymen a favor.
Allow your voices to be heard.
Exercise your right and express your views.
Because after all, only when people vote properly can our democracy in our nation be successfully executed.